Hi, this is Dave Muir, and in this video I'm going to talk through a couple of Flex scaffolding tips that will hopefully help you get started with My Eclipse for Spring 8.6. So I've got a web project here, and with 3 Java beans. You can see member here has some attributes and relationships to workouts and facility. I'm just going to right click on the project, choose My Eclipse, and scaffold Spring code application from. I'll choose Java beans and then bring in all the classes and then choose member as the parent. I'm going to choose the primary keys for each Java bean, and this is for the JPA generation during scaffolding, and then I'll choose the default application layers and DB connection, and then I'll choose Adobe Flex. And once I do that, I'm presented with this Flex options pane, which is pre-populated with the location of the open source Flex SDK that comes bundled with the My Eclipse for Spring 8.6 install. I can change this to another 3.5 or 4.0 Flex SDK, or if I have Flash Builder, I won't see this pane. So I'll click next to the Customize User Interface pane, and I'll choose Spring 3.0 here. For those using Spring 2.5, please take a look at the My Eclipse for Spring forums, where there's a current thread discussing a class path container library conflict which can cause some deployment errors. So I'll click Finish, and this is now generating a ready-to-run application that contains everything, a Spring backend with a Flex frontend. So not only is the project being set up for Spring Flex with all the appropriate libraries, you also see that all the necessary code and configuration files are being generated, like the Spring DAO and the services, and the Flex source with all the MXML and the action scripting representing the domain objects. Now, the one consideration to mention after scaffolding with Flex is the limited support for lazy loading when developing Spring, Hibernate, and Flex applications with Blaze DS. So there's a discussion thread out on the My Eclipse for Spring forums with more details, and we welcome more discussion out there. But the one implication in these scaffolded apps are with any many-to-one or one-to-one relationships. If you have those, just find them and change the fetch type to eager, and this will allow you to allow the application to populate any children forms that are in the Flex application. So I'm going to go ahead and save this, and for more lazy loading support, you'll want to take a look at Adobe's commercial product Lifecycle Data Services. So I'm going to go ahead and run this on the My Eclipse server application. And as I do that, I just want to go over a couple of files. The first is this build folder, which contains the Ant script to compile all your MXML and ActionScript into the Flash file that you can find under the web root. Now, this Ant script is actually run automatically at one time after scaffolding, but if or when you want to make any changes to the MXML or ActionScript, you can go ahead and just right click this and run as an Ant script. Of course, in your Flex source, you've got your assets folders with the CSS and images. You've got all your MXML that represent the CRUD operations for the children, forms and grids, and you've got the ActionScript domain objects. And then, of course, your default application that usually starts with manage. So I'm going to go ahead and look at this application. You can see I've got a menu here. I'm going to go into the Flash file, and now I can start to play around with the application. I can create records, and I can update them. I could delete them. You could see that the child many implementation is a grid, so if I add things here, I can then, this is an editable grid, so I can go here and change this. That'll go right to the database, and this member facility is a one-to-one. So there's just a ton of new functionality to explore with My Eclipse for Spring 8.6, especially with this Flex scaffolding. Please take a look and use the forums for questions or feedback as you're using this new capability. Would love to hear any comments or suggestions on what we can do to make Flex Scaffold even better than what it is today. Thank you, and enjoy Spring Flex Scaffolding.